One of the questions that has been lurking in the back of my mind for literally decades is, of all the different flavors of Christian faith, which group comes closest to getting it right? I think I first verbalized this question on a youth group retreat when I was in high school. We were gathered in the meeting area of the guest lodge at Moe Ranch, having one of those discussions common among high school youth. The leader's prompt was, as I recall, if you had one question to ask God when you got to heaven, what would it be? From that time until now, I've been really curious about how God sees the church with its staggering variety of beliefs and practices. And it prompts me now to offer a series of devotionals I call The Many Faces of Faith. Hello, I'm Stuart Baskin, pastor of First Presbyterian Church of Tyler, Texas, and this is your daily devotional for Monday, May 1st, 2023. One of the consequences of my travels around the world is that I have seen firsthand the astonishing variety of ways that Christians practice the faith. Go to Jerusalem, for example, and you'll see Christians of every description, many of whom bear little resemblance to us. I don't mean this in a racial sense, though Christians from nearly every continent are there. What I mean is that there are people whose beliefs and practices seem strange to us. There are evangelical Christians wanting to walk in the footsteps of Jesus. There are Catholic and Orthodox Christians walking the Via Dolorosa and praying at each of the stations of the cross. There are mainline Christians eager to drink in the sounds and sights of the place to get a better sense not only of where Jesus spent the last week of his life, but also to gain some understanding of why the Old City is holy to three different religions, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. A visit to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre places all of these different Christian groups and peoples in often uncomfortable proximity. Not only are there pilgrims from all over the world who have come to touch the places where tradition holds that Jesus was crucified, where his body was placed before being placed in the tomb, and the tomb where Jesus' body was laid before he was resurrected, but you'll see not only these pilgrims, you'll also see a church building that different traditions control. Some parts of the building are governed by Greek Orthodox, other parts by Roman Catholics, and still other parts by Armenian Orthodox, and there are even other groups beyond that. And the members of these different groups live in barely hidden tension, which occasionally boils over in actual fisticuffs. All of which leads me to two observations. First, Christian faith simply does come in a bewildering variety of traditions, beliefs, and practices. Second, nearly every Christian group believes they, and they alone, are the true representation of the Church of Jesus Christ. Some of these groups not only believe that they are right and others wrong, they also believe that all other Christians are full-on heretics who will never enter the kingdom of heaven. It's often difficult for me to fathom how different Christians can so glibly dismiss others as outcasts and heretics, but the simple fact is, they do. At those times when I'm tempted to throw up my hands in frustration, I remember a passage from Paul's letter to the Romans and wish all Christians could live into these words. Speaking of the differences of opinion that existed even in the early church, Paul says, "Welcome those who are weak in the faith, but not for the purpose of quarreling over opinions. Some believe in eating anything while the weak eat only vegetables. Those who eat must not despise those who abstain, and those who abstain must not pass judgment on those who eat, for God has welcomed them. Who are you to pass judgment on servants of another? It is before their own Lord that they stand or fall, and they will be upheld, for the Lord is able to make them stand. Some judge one day to be better than another, while others judge all days to be alike. Let all be fully convinced in their own minds. Those who observe the day, observe it in the honor of the Lord. And those who eat, eat in honor of the Lord, since they give thanks to God. While those who abstain, abstain in honor of the Lord and give thanks to God." You see, Paul here calls for mutual forbearance among Christians who hold very different opinions on a wide variety of things. Without a doubt, many of these Christians held their beliefs so firmly that they considered those who did not share their opinions to be lesser Christians. Paul goes on to say, "Why do you pass judgment on your brother or sister? Or you, why do you despise your brother or sister? For we will all stand before the judgment seat of God. For it is written, 'As I live, says the Lord, every knee shall bow to me, and every tongue shall give praise to God.' So then, each of us will be accountable to God." I guess there are at least a couple of ways to regard the vast differences we find in the church. One way is to consider our way the norm, against which all others should be judged. This seems awfully egocentric to me, though, but this is the way most of us look at the rest of the church. The other more difficult way is to regard ourselves as but one expression of Christian faith among many. Are there those that are closer and those that are further from the truth? Without a doubt. But here's the rub. We are not the ones who get to make that judgment. That judgment is above our pay grade. Way above our pay grade. So where does that leave us? To my way of thinking, it means that we need to take a more appreciative view of those different forms of the Christian faith. Who knows? We might just learn something from them. And now, may God continue to bless you and keep you in all that you do, this day and in all the days ahead.